Hey, this is Stu from the Military Officer Real Estate Investment Club. Today we're going to be going over one of the presentations that we had at one of our local meetings, and we went over the 8 steps to financial freedom. So here we go. First, what is financial freedom? There's lots of definitions that you can come up with, but my definition of financial freedom is having enough passive income to cover all of my living expenses and not be worried in any way about money. So to get to that point, you really have to take these steps, and it doesn't really have to be in the particular order, but all of these really are key to gaining financial freedom. So here we go. So step one, change your mindset. This is very important, and it kind of is the key to everything else. So the middle class mindset, everyone thinks, if you go to school, you get a good education, and you get a good job, and then you'll make lots of money, and then you can buy lots of stuff, and then you can get into a whole lot of debt. And once you get into debt, then you need to continue to pay it off. You probably need to get a better job, and it's just a continuous cycle over and over again. And we call that the rat race. We definitely want to get out of that rat race as fast as possible. So the wealthy, they think differently. Their mindset works differently. They don't work for their money. They've learned how to make their money work for them. And this is a quote by Robert Kiyosaki there. They really look at everything as either an asset or as a liability. Assets obviously are bringing in money, and then liabilities are taking money away from you. And they're trying to take that earned money that earned income that they make and turn it into passive income or portfolio income. So Robert Kiyosaki, he wrote a great book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you haven't read it, highly recommend it. He talks a lot about the cash flow quadrant. There's the left side of the quadrant, and then there's the right side of the quadrant. All of us in the military, we're probably technically considered an employee. We have a job, a 9-to-5 job, or really probably a 24/7 job. And our goal is to get over to the other side of the quadrant there on the right side. If you are starting a business, you don't want to create this business where it requires you to be in it. You want to create systems and then have people working for you. Or even better, get down to that I quadrant and be an investor and really just have your money work for you. Bring in that passive income every single month. If you want to, you can probably Google it, but there's a video link at the very bottom there that is really good and explains kind of the 4 different quadrants for the cash flow quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. So step 2, to get to that point to where you're having enough money that you can invest and create passive income streams, you have to manage your finances. So the middle class mindset is always, hey, if I make more money, that will solve all of my problems. And that can't be farther from the truth. Just because you make more money doesn't going to mean it's going to solve all your problems. You probably have bad financial habits, and so you need to get out of these bad financial habits. Getting into debt, big credit card debt, buying new cars, high interest rates. You have to get out of that stuff. Now, we're not talking that all debt is bad. There is a good type of debt. But the debt where you're just buying materialistic things and wants over needs, that's where it gets you into trouble. So the wealthy, they don't look at it as in how much money they make, but it's what they're doing with the money that they do make. They have financial literacy. They're smart about their money, and they know how money works and how it can work for themselves. And so first and foremost, you have to have a budget. You have to know where your money is going, and you need to tell your money where it's going and have an idea every single month what's happening with what you're spending and what you're investing in. So I highly recommend Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. It really helps you get your mindset squared away on becoming debt free and having a budget and taking those baby steps that he talks about to get to financial freedom or financial peace in his words. Another great book is The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley and William Donko. Highly recommend it. So step 3, educate yourself. You're not going to learn this stuff in schools. Your teacher isn't going to teach you this, so you're going to have to go out and find it yourself. The middle class mindset is they think investing is too risky, but it's the lack of education is why they think that, and they spend too much time elsewhere. TV is the biggest time waster that you could ever spend time on. So get away from that TV and start educating yourself. The wealthy, again from Robert Kiyosaki, the more your financial intelligence goes up, the more your risk goes down. So, learn how to invest, become financially savvy, increase your vocabulary, and this starts with, reading books, listening to podcasts, going and finding blogs, going to real estate club meetings, and asking those that you want to emulate questions. Get onto the discussion forums. You can go onto themariek.com and ask questions, and you're going to have people that will probably know the answer. Here's a few of them that I like a lot. I listen to the Bigger Pockets podcast a lot. There's some great information about real estate investing. Success Magazine, it's just a really good business magazine and has a lot of good articles. And then the Wall Street Journal, just keeping up with what's going on in the market, learning what trends are and where business is moving. So step 4, set goals. This is incredibly important. You have to set goals of where you want to get to. And we call them SMART goals. They're specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. And you have to write them down, and you have to post them somewhere where you can see them. I printed it out and posted it inside my journal that I look at on a daily basis. Or you can print them out and post them on your wall somewhere. Put them right by your computer where you're going to see it every day. It helps remind yourself of what goals that you can track and maintain. Darren Hardy wrote a great book called The Compound Effect. He calls a weekly rhythm register this tool that can really help you track and gain ground on your goals. This basically takes a goal and breaks it down into bite-sized steps to get you there over the long course of a goal. One example here is if you can look in this weekly rhythm register is, hey, maybe you want to lose 10 pounds this year. Well, what do you need to do to lose those 10 pounds? You probably should be doing 30 minutes of cardio. You probably need to be doing some weight training sessions. So if you look on this sheet, you broke it down to doing 30 minutes of cardio. The goal was 3 times a week. And then weight training was the goal of 3 times a week as well. So then you can just track it on a day-by-day basis of what you're doing, and it helps you really get there. So step 5, you have to build your network. You can't go at this alone. You need to find people that you can build a team around. So the wealthy, this is a great quote by Jim Rohn. Don't join an easy crowd. You won't grow. Go where the expectations and the demands to perform are high. So get out there and find yourself a mentor and offer value to the mentor, and then that mentor will also in turn offer value to you. You have to put yourself and surround yourself with those people who are successful and they're going to make you better. Create a team. You're going to have a team in this business to get you there. Here's a great book by Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you look at habits 4, 5, and 6, it's all about building a team, thinking win-win, and using synergy to help you get there. Step 6, take action. Now you can learn all that you can possibly learn, study, ask questions, but you're never going to get anywhere if you never take action. This is a really cool picture here that talks about, it's called the cone of learning, and it really shows how you learn the most, and that's really by doing. You have to get out there and actually do the real thing. It says we tend to remember 90% of what we say and do by actually doing the real thing. And yeah, you're probably going to make some mistakes along the way, but if you're learning from those mistakes, it's just going to make you better. And every successful person has made mistakes in the past. So step 7, overcome obstacles. There's a lot of obstacles that could get in your way. And there's a lot of excuses that people have. Here's kind of some of the top 6 major obstacles. Fear, yeah, it's really scary at first. The first time you put a huge down payment on a house, it could be quite scary. But if you've done your research and you've done your homework and you've learned, you've taken a lot of that risk away. Cynicism, laziness, bad habits, pride, disappointment, all huge obstacles that you'll have to overcome. And the last step here is you have to give back. The old saying, give and you shall receive, is incredibly true. This is a great book called The Go-Giver, and it talks about there's 5 laws here: the law of value, the law of compensation, the law of influence, the law of authenticity, and the law of receptivity. It's a great book. Highly suggest reading it. And you have to go out and you have to give and create value for others. So there it is, quick and to the point. If you haven't read any of these books, I highly suggest adding them to your reading list for 2017. I hope you take heed to this, take action, and get after it. You can always go to themaria.com, ask questions there, network, and hopefully you can maybe even find some opportunities there. Thanks. I hope you'd enjoyed. Please like and share with as many people as you possibly know. Cheers.